Look, it's great to be with you all today. I've got the terrific experience of spending some time with Rachel Carpenter. Rachel is the Chief Safety Officer for Caltrans. And to give you an idea of scale, Caltrans is the organisation that has 22,000 people working for it, looking after the interests of the people of California, of which there's 39 million people in California. And Rachel and the wider team at Caltrans look after 59,000 lane miles of road. So big responsibilities, and our conversation with Rachel today is going to be about the change that's underway with Caltrans regarding safe system, and just some of the challenges and some of the wins associated with that change, and how Rachel and her team are ultimately delivering a safer system for the people of California. So welcome, Rachel.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Okay. Well, look, I suppose everyone is probably thinking, well, you know, how did you get here? And tell us a little bit about that.
Certainly. So I think probably no matter where you are in the world, you agree that the overarching objective of the transportation system is to provide mobility. But we continue to dedicate significant resources to create a system that's safe for all users. But in California and across all of the United States, we continue to grapple with this increase in fatalities and serious injuries, both for us at the local, state, and national levels. And just to give you a little bit of a feel, in California, over the last decade, about 3,500 people on average died each year in traffic crashes statewide, and about another 14,500 were seriously injured. And just last year, preliminary estimates show that it's a little higher. And so in 2019, Caltrans, I'll refer to the California Department of Transportation as either Caltrans or the department. And back in about 2019, the department decided that something had to change, that number of deaths on our road was not acceptable. So in 2020, the department created my position, their first ever Chief Safety Officer, and had this position report to the director and sit on our department's executive board. So that's how I personally came to this position. But over the next 5 years, and since that time, we have worked really hard to build a new division of safety programs so that we had a core group to lead this change work. And one of the first things that we did in order to sort of like spur that urgency that we knew was needed in order to really successfully go through an organizational change management process was to begin to share that data. So we created a number of dashboards. We created talking points for our executives to share this atrocious amount of death that we were seeing on our system, death and serious injury. And by doing that, I think we started to get the attention that we needed in order to propel some changes to occur.
Yeah, look, that's really impressive. And look, that's a big step change to have, safety elevated to a level where you're actually getting a really significant influence at the very highest level. That's terrific. So what about, can you explain a little bit about the mandate that, that change enables?
Yeah, certainly. And to your earlier point, safety before 2020, safety was buried in our division of traffic operations, within the department, at a pretty low level. And so there was a lot of change that had to occur just to pull safety out and put it at the top. And that did, I think, help to the organizationally help to show this heightened importance of safety. So in terms of the mandate for change, one of the first steps after starting to share data and getting people to realize that something had to change more than just our core group was to create our vision and strategy. And so fortunately, we had been looped in abroad and realized the power of the safe system approach. And so we pretty early on committed to a zero goal of zero deaths and serious injuries on our roads and set a 2050 horizon year. And then also decided that the way we'd get there is through implementation of the safe system approach. So once we had that vision and strategy, we knew we had to communicate it. So one of the things that we did was to build that vision into a number of high-level policy documents. And what that did is sort of became our mandate for change. So those policy documents included our state's transportation plan, our California Strategic Highway Safety Plan, our climate action plan for transportation infrastructure. I could go on and on. So there were, I would say, about 6 or 7 really important sort of guiding documents in the state. So once we had built that, zero goal and explicit indication of safe system into those policy documents, we realized, statewide policy documents, we realized that we then had to take a step down to institute some sort of mandate at the department level. And so what we did in 2022 was to create a new director's policy on road safety. And at the department, director's policies are sort of the highest level of policy that we have. And it, very clearly establishes sort of what we think of as a corporate expectation. And so through the development of our new director's policy, we set that expectation for Caltrans, our department, like you said, Steve, of 22,000, to align our projects and policies and procedures and really our mindset to be in alignment with that vision of zero and the safe system approach. But then we realized that, we acknowledge the importance of connecting the high level policy to the day-to-day work of 22,000 at Caltrans. And so to start to pivot the department, we created a 2-year road safety action plan. So we did that in 2023 and 2024. And the intent is to bring all of our functional areas together, so construction, maintenance, sort of the whole project life cycle of folks that represent those areas, to define out what safety means to their area and also commit to a number of actions. So, just to wrap that all up, there was a lot of sort of mandates for change. We started at the high level policy statewide, brought it down to the department level, and then actually started to work into all of the functional units to try to embed safety in all of our work.
Yeah, and that idea of change has been resourced at the very highest level, and then the policy change after it over the whole of California. And you've talked about 22,000 people. It's no small organisation. What do you do about getting cultural change inside the organisation? Have you got an overt plan for that?
Yeah, and it's a huge process. Change, I think, to start, I took on learning about organizational change management, because that's exactly what it is. It's, they often refer to Caltrans as a ship and trying to shift the direction. And you can imagine it takes a lot of energy. And so coordinating change across our whole department, really does require a coalition of strong leaders. And so once we had developed my position and our headquarters division of safety programs, one of the next things we did was to establish what we call safe system leads. And at this point, we have 26 safe system leads that are across our headquarters program, and then also in each of our 12 districts, which are geographic around the state. And so, we knew we needed a guiding coalition for our major change management process. So these 26 safe system leads are the most safety committed people in the organization. And, I think that they really did help our change management process. So there are single focal points from, we're sort of the hub, and then we have tentacles out to the whole department through these safe system leads. And we've learned in the last couple of years since we've established these positions, that they have a cascading effect, a really beautiful cascading effect in getting more people across the department involved in safety and understanding our new approach. So, one of the first tasks that we assigned those safe system leads was to work with us in headquarters safety and develop, like I mentioned, the road safety action plans for each of their areas. So what that then did by process is required them to have lots of conversations within their functional area to really question, what does safety mean to us now? What could it mean with the safe system approach, and what sort of changes in the way we do business need to occur? And so that was, sort of that was part of our change management process. One of the other steps that happened, which I'm especially proud of, is that some of our districts, a number of them actually, have followed headquarters lead in creating district chief safety officers. So now we have, go ahead.
No, keep going. That's great stuff.
It is really great because the safe system leads are fantastic. They're able to sort of work at their level, the day-to-day, sort of like staff level. But we realized that what we needed was somebody that sits at the higher level. And so, as an example, in our District 4, which represents the entire San Francisco Bay Area, we now have a chief safety officer there that reports directly to their district director. And so then we sort of have two levels of very safety committed people. And that's really helped us implement the organizational change that we knew needed to occur. So, by ensuring that each of our functional areas had a safe system lead, then we could really, try to make sure that we were meeting that corporate expectation that was established in that, director's policy on road safety.
Yeah. So, I can really understand the need for that organisational change. So, we've talked about strategy and policy, and we've then talked about structure. What about some of the challenges within that structural kind of organisational change process? And maybe it's organisational challenge, or maybe it's just technical challenge. Has it all been smooth sailing?
Hardly. I sort of, I don't mean to imply that, we just created some high level policies and a department policy and some safe system leads and everything fell into place. No, it's been a huge struggle for 5 years. And I think, in terms of the technical challenges, what the traditional approach to road safety says is that we focus on all crashes. We aim to change human behavior. And just those two things have been incredibly difficult for our teams, my team, the hub, the road safety hub, to get their minds around. So it's taken a lot of work to instill that instead of focusing on all crashes, we need to focus on fatal and serious injury crashes. And we've had a lot of hard conversations about, well, wait, so are we okay with property damage only? And so, on the technical side, it's been extremely difficult. There's still, even we're only 5 years into this our safe system journey, if you will, and we're still combating, at our headquarters leadership level with our safety teams, this need for systems thinking. And so we often get, results back from investigations that our teams have done for roads saying, oh no, human error, nothing to be done here, where we're trying to teach actually like how can we shift the road, the design, to understand the likely mistakes that people will make. So yeah, technically it's been a big challenge. We're still, and to give you just another example, we still use the 85th percentile in California, and there's quite a bit of pride around that method. In terms of just sort of the non-technical, it was great to develop a division of safety programs. Like I said, we really needed to have that leadership to be, to see the change management process through. But one of the things that has happened, we've realized since developing a new division of safety programs, is that a lot of technical questions or decisions have been sort of like thrown over the fence to us. And for some things that's great, but we don't want, to be the only ones that are, safety experts. The end goal is to institutionalize safety throughout the whole department. And so we have run into some struggles by having a division of safety programs instead of just like embedding experts throughout the department. And then I think, the last I'd love to just share just an example of sort of another type of challenge we've had. When I came into my position as our chief safety officer at the time, I was just a little over 30, and I got into the elevator on my way up to my office on the 4th floor, and I was asked by someone else in the elevator if I was enjoying my time as a student assistant. And so I sort of, quickly corrected him and told him that no, in fact, I was your chief safety officer. And so we all got a giggle. But, I think it does just show the amount of bias that we've had to, overcome in this work by having a new position, the chief safety officer, by having the division of safety programs. We don't have the benefit of having years of time to build your respect and a reputation. So, that's another challenge that I think we face, sort of, oh, you're a new program, like we're going to keep doing what we do. So those are some examples.
Yeah, look, thanks for those. And look, the last example, it kind of shows just the inertia that you have to fight against. And it's not just about policy, it's about a whole lot of change. And so, look, I know that you're bringing that change, and I know it won't be smooth sailing. I know there will be some rough waters at times. Hey, for the people that are watching this, what advice would you have for the road marks on their pathway to actually having influential and potentially transformational change inside their organisations? What would be the things that they could follow or learn from as, the waypoints on their journey?
Yeah, thanks for that question. And I think it's important to start by saying that it is a journey. And just in my time at the department in this position, I've learned that change is really slow, and it takes paths that you didn't expect it to. And so I think, it's important to remember that there is no recipe, and that, Caltrans roadmap could look a lot different than any other organization's roadmap. I do think that one of the things that really helped us at the beginning was to create that sense of urgency, though, around safety. And, it's somewhat bittersweet. It was fairly simple for us to do because it's just sharing the data. And that was an important step to get people to realize that the status quo wasn't acceptable anymore. It was a huge win to be able to build, our zero vision and explicit mention of the safe system approach in the number of high-level policy documents that I mentioned, because then it did sort of show that the very top of the state of California and Caltrans believed in our new vision and strategy, that leadership support, I think, is critical when you're trying to take on massive change. And then just your question asked, what are the small wins? I think that making sure to get some small wins is really important when you're taking on big organizational change. For us, one of those examples was the development, really the creation of a new program to get safety countermeasures out extremely quickly. So historically, we have built safety countermeasures through our capital program, and oftentimes, long durations. And so we created a new safety program within our highway maintenance group that has been really incredibly successful at implementing countermeasures, enhancements like proven safety countermeasures extremely quickly. So we partnered with our division of maintenance, and we've been able to get out changes onto the road in taking a lot less time than historically we ever had. And we had to go through the legislature to actually set aside some specific funding for this program. And so that was a relatively just small change, development of a new program. I mean, it's not nothing, but it was just setting aside a new funding pot to get countermeasures out quickly, I think, was one way. We didn't change the countermeasure toolbox. It was just a different delivery method, was sort of, a small win for us. We've also begun piloting a lot of new treatments on make sure our employees are safe on the road. So we've partnered with maintenance and traffic operation and our construction folks to pilot, new mobile barrier systems, attenuator trucks, the new reflective cones and vests that our staff wear. And so I think by taking on some new pilots, we're able to show that, hey, changes and quick changes is really possible to keep our people safe. And, all of the department can get behind that. There's no better way to show that safety is your number one goal than to protecting your employees while they're at work.
Look, those are some really great examples I'm sure everyone can use when they're actually going on their journeys as well, no matter where they are, if they're at the start end or the middle end. So that's fantastic. Hey, Rachel, this has been brilliant to speak with you today. It's been a real privilege. I'm sure everyone will take a lot from this. And look, I wish Caltrans all the very best on its continuing journey to save lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I just want to express my appreciation to Abley and all of the work that you've done on your side of the globe around movement in place. It's served as a great example for us in where we want to go eventually in California. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Rachel. See you soon.